Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Liverpool Connection podcast with myself, Glenn. I'm joined with Julian tonight. Before we get into the big game, Liverpool versus West Ham, or West Ham versus Liverpool, massive news today, Julian. I think we have to start with it, mate. Tottenham Hotspur, about 6 weeks ago, sacked the manager. Then they appointed the assistant manager, and then they've sacked him, and then now they're appointing the assistant manager. Fucking mental.
What are they doing? Like, what are they doing at that club? It's amazing when you look at the league table for how well they're actually doing in the league. I mean, that shows how bad everyone else has been around them. But, I mean, they have a chance of getting the Champions League, and they're just pissing it away through making bizarre decisions. Like, I get the Conte thing. I mean, he couldn't really go on, but then they kept his backroom staff, right? For some bizarre reason, and now the interim guy has been fired, and now they brought in Mason again, who was there working with that backroom stuff as well. Absolute clusterfuck disaster of a football club.
Yeah, it is. And then just another one, as it seems like it's going to happen as well. It looks like Chelsea are going to appoint their 200th manager of the season as well. Looks like they're going to get Pochettino. What's your thoughts on that?
That's a tough one, isn't it, to call, right? Because you could say, of course, Pochettino did well at Southampton, goes to Spurs, and then overachieved, you could say. I mean, they got to second in the Premier League, got to the final of the Champions League, and then there wasn't the investment, and then he fell out with the owner, etc. Went to PSG and didn't do great. I mean, he didn't win the title, which is amazing. The PSG is a disaster of a club anyway, but still he underachieved at PSG. So it's really hard to say how this is going to work out for him at Chelsea. I mean, Chelsea looks like, well, they're definitely not going to be in the Champions League next season. So, and there's going to be, he has an abundance of players in the squad, 30 or something. So there's going to have to need to be some sales happening there, maybe some incomings, but it's a mess of football. Maybe not quite as bad as Tottenham, but still it's a different kind of mess. So it's very hard to see how he's going to do. It's very hard to call that one. And if you're a Chelsea fan, are you going to be happy? Well, he's not a winner. So
it's also the Tottenham thing as well. Like it's also you're appointing the ex-Tottenham manager as well, who's probably, one of the best managers they've ever had. Anyway, I want to start with something absolutely mental. It's just obviously all come out today, so I thought we'd sort of go into that. But the Reds are on again. Initial thoughts, just quick thoughts on the Forest game. I don't want to get too much into it, but what was your thoughts on the actual match?
First of all, Forest I thought were brilliant. I thought they had a game plan. They played really well. I thought Canate and Virgil looked completely disjointed and struggled at times during that game. So credit to Forest. First half was a bit of a non-event, and second half was just madness. And it's disappointing because their defending has been all right recently since we've seen Canate and Virgil, but they really got out-muscled against Nottingham Forest. I thought the Forest did really well. Thank goodness we got out and we got that win, which maybe we wouldn't have done earlier in the season. But just happy to get. I mean, at this stage of the season, it's cliche, but just happy to get the 3 points and move on. So
yeah, I said when we done the preview that I would have took anything for a Liverpool win. But do you know what is really funny, right? You never ever really see these long throws anymore, do you? Like they've sort of gone just like the Stoke days, the Rory to Lap.
Rory to Lap, right?
Yeah. And like I'm all for like teams doing whatever you've got to do to try and scrap and win and stuff. But like obviously if it wasn't against us, it would have been nice. But to see these long throws coming back in, and the fact that we just seem like in the second half, we just seem to keep giving them throws all the time, and you're like, stop doing that. You may as well give them a corner. But no, got through that now. On to West Ham. West Ham Wednesday night. It's Monday night. when we're recording this. So yeah, seems to be picking up a little bit of form. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, West Ham are playing well at the moment. They've been on a good little run, and they've slowly crept away from being in the relegation battle. Now they're not out of it because the gap between that bottom three all the way up to Chelsea and below isn't that big. It's not many points there. So West Ham are still not safe. So this is a massive game for them. They have improved recently. They got some really good results. Of course, the result against Arsenal was fantastic. They did really well then. But yeah, it's a tough game. It's a nice big pitch that we generally, we tend to like it there.
Yeah, we do.
So I'm kind of confident, but not I'm not all the way. I'm kind of, 65% maybe, something like that.
Yeah, I'm actually really glad they won the other day, and they won well, because sometimes when you play like the teams near the bottom of the league, and they'll be really cagey and they won't really come out and things like that.
Yeah.
But now, because they've sort of got that, they're going to be flying. They're confident to be flying. So, which usually would be a bit like, ooh, but because they're going to come out at us a little bit, I think there'll be a little bit more space on the counter attack. And like you say, it's a big old pitch, and with Salah, Nunez, Diaz, or whoever's going to play, it's I think we'll win.
This is the game after seeing the same team for the last few games. It says the one he's going to probably change it. The midfield did look tired against Nottingham Forest. Jones, after having such a good game previously, couldn't get involved against Nottingham Forest. So we might see him out of the team for this. I would expect Thiago, probably time for him to come back in. I would think the main changes are probably going to be the midfield three for this. Fabinho probably stay in. Thiago, Henderson started. This will be 4 or 5 in a row. So maybe we'll see. Yeah,
we did the teams the other day. Then we did about 10 minutes on it, and then we just just keep the same team.
Yeah, just keep the same one.
So
this one he won't. This one I'm sure he'll change.
No, I don't think he will either. It is genuinely really, really difficult to say how they'll set up, because you would think, and with this new formation, Harvey Elliott seems perfect for it within one of those more advanced midfield positions.
The Henderson position seems tailor-made for Harvey to come back in.
With having 2 6s there, you would think that it'd be better for him.
Yeah.
It's like we were saying the other day, I don't know if that Curtis position suits Thiago. I don't.
Right.
It really doesn't. So I wouldn't even be surprised. But then at the same time, do you really want Curtis and Harvey both playing in there? Do you know what I mean?
No. I think that would be
difficult, isn't it?
I wouldn't trust that at all. But I mean, at least the good thing is now, right? We're getting to the end of the season where, of course, for us to have any hope in getting a Champions League spot, which is still unlikely. It's still mathematically, it's still possible, but it's unlikely. We have to win every single game. But the good news is that the majority of players are back. We have an abundance of options up front, and we have a decent amount of options in midfield, and even at the back as well. I mean, he could easily bring Gomez back in for this game for Canate, who looked a little bit rusty the last game. But Gomez is fit. Matip. Now, of course, like you said, we're recording this Monday. Hopefully there's no injuries between doing this and the game. But yeah, he's got some good options, which is probably one of the first times, if not the first time this season, when the majority of the squad are fit.
Yeah, it is. It's a good point, actually. I think other than Firmino, I can't really think of that many players that are out. I think everyone's back, don't they?
Yeah, there's Firmino's out, Ramsey's out, but obviously he hasn't featured. I know what you mean. Your mate Naby Keita, he's still,
I don't really like Naby Keita. What are you going to say, Costas? He does me in, but
by the way, even I don't know if there was a joke or not, but there's no competition. Robbo is miles better than the Greek. I mean, the Greek is okay as a squad player, but he's never, ever going to be someone that you would want consistently in the side. He just isn't that player.
No, I can't bear him for 10 minutes a match. He's all right. He seems like a sound fella.
He is all right.
So we've got Darren O'Connor here.
We got a special guest who's going to show up. Well, let's see if
Let's see if this actually comes on.
his camera comes on, but
Otherwise, this is proper random, isn't it?
it is. Yeah, maybe he's just hovering, keeping an eye. You know.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, I think there's a lot of options, which is really good. So that's a good thing. We should go into this game with a lot of confidence. Salah, he loves a bit of West Ham away, so hopefully we see that again. But
you know what, mate? I was just thinking.
Feeling good.
I was just thinking there. You know, like a player that we haven't really spoken about is Carvalho, and I feel like Carvalho would actually can't see him working in a 4-3-3 in the midfield. I can't see him working as a front three player. And then in this sort of formation, I can see
it suits him.
Yeah,
you would think, right?
You think?
Yeah, I mean this now. Of course, he hasn't been seen in months. Carvalho hasn't. He had that run on when Diaz was out early in the season, and Carvalho was given a chance and didn't really impress. And since then, it just hasn't happened for him in one way or another. Obviously, it's something we don't see, but it sounds like he's potentially going to go out on loan in the summer. But yeah, I don't expect him, and I'm not sure if you were saying that or not, but I don't expect him to feature against West Ham.
I don't. I mean, he's not featured for so long. I was just thinking about it then. I was just trying to think of some of the players that might be available and things like that, and I just thought he could be a player that might actually suit this.
But it's a good chat going forward. I mean, if this is the setup that Klopp and the coaching staff are considering sticking with going into next season, then it does. Players like Carvalho, you would think, would suit him down to a T. It suits Elliott really well. Obviously, Gakpo, it's going to suit that role as the 9, right? And then it's obviously dependent on who you bring in as midfielders. If it's a focus on that formation of a way of playing, then you're signing midfielders based on that as well. So I don't think Trent will be in midfield. I think going forward, I think he'll stay as a right back, but we will use this as an option for him in certain games. It didn't work really that well against Forest because they man-marked him, and it shows the downside of using Trent. It was actually similar the day before the Arsenal game with Zinchenko as well. He had the same problems that Trent did. So when it's working well for you, then it's great. But I think it's when teams are winning the midfield and their formation is set up a certain way where they're ready for Trent in that position, then it can be a bit of a struggle. But
it's hard, isn't it? I think we'll do. I mean, we're gonna do a pod, hopefully down in the pub, and we're gonna have a bit more of a longer chat about the future and what it looks like, what we think, formation wise, and any potential players that we may look to go in the market for, because it is genuinely really, really interesting.
Yeah,
go about it. But actually, moving on to predictions itself, what your thoughts?
Ooh.
I fancy us. Do you?
I think we'll win. I don't think it'll be easy. I think it'll be like a 2-1, something like that. I think just because West Ham have been playing well recently, they found a way to get results, and they need results, and they probably need like a couple more, 3 more wins maybe to be safe. I think we'll win 2-1.
Yeah, I fancy us as well, but then I'm also like, I don't know where this confidence comes from, because Leeds are obviously shocking, and we're shocking away from home. So I'm like, I'm doubting myself. But I'll go Liverpool to win. I'll go 3-1 then.
3-1. What do you think he's going to do? What do you think he's going to do with the front 3? Keep the same or change it?
Hard, isn't it? It's really hard. I don't think Diaz will start. I don't think Diaz will start, but I think if we can get him 30 minutes, would be good. Whatever the score is, it'd be good to get him half an hour.
I think
It's difficult, like, because Jota, there's times when Jota doesn't really contribute that much to the game, but he's just a batsman. He scores for fun. His second goal the other day was absolutely class.
it was.
So it's a bit like, well, I genuinely could see Jota scoring like 6-7 more goals this season. But with that big pitch and Núñez as an outball, I think that would be massive for as well. So the odd one, I don't know. What would you do?
I think Jota has proven himself that when he scores goals, he goes on these streaks, doesn't he? Right? He's like a classic poacher that once the goals, start happening, they continue for a while. So I think Jota, I reckon, will start again. I think Salah will start. And if those two are going to start, then you probably say Gakpo will start as well, just because it gives probably the best balance.
Yeah.
There is an argument maybe to bring Diaz back in, but just thinking about it earlier, but maybe not, just because you got to start Salah and you've really got to start Jota at the moment. And Núñez, interestingly, is way down as 5th choice, I think, for me at the moment. And when he came on the other day, he was fucking dreadful, honestly.
Yeah,
he was not good at
He's
all.
very frustrating, isn't he?
So
I think Diaz. I don't think Diaz is going to start next couple. I think you've got to build it up, haven't you? You've got maybe. I mean, he come on against Leeds the other day. The game's pretty much dead. It was just pretty much running about a little bit. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
On 10, 15 minutes against Forest or whatever it was. I think if you can get him half an hour here, and then maybe, hopefully, it's similar for Spurs. He could maybe come on at Spurs, and then maybe the next game after that, I can't remember who it is. I think it's Fulham at home. Then maybe you can.
And he's been out so long, and like we've said, he doesn't need to start. We now have players available, exactly. So it's not like we have to throw him in because we have no options. We actually do have options. So after such a long time out, it makes sense to continue him on the bench and then bring him on, as needed. So all around to say that probably the same front three. So
yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, we did this last time, didn't we? It's a weird one, because like we were just talking then about the City and Arsenal are on exactly the same time. But we're hoping Liverpool could be 3-0 up, and then we can try and watch the second half. It'd be nice if Liverpool were 3-0 up with 60 to go, so we can watch the second half of the City game as well.
Oh, I'm going to have the Liverpool game will stay on the big TV, and then I'll have the other game on like my tablet,
Yeah,
I'll have that on in the corner. But
and then on Thursday, it's possibly the biggest game of the whole season, maybe in Premier League history, because if Newcastle can beat Everton, if Anthony Gordon can score a last-minute winner there, then I tell you what, it would be football could stop, to be honest. Because
it's at Everton, right? It's at
Goodison Park, yeah. So
he's gonna
be
armed guard security, get him out of there. He'll be
they'll be seething. They'll be absolutely seething. So
if Eddie Howe seems like an intelligent bloke, he really does, and he's done a fantastic job with Newcastle. If I was Eddie Howe, I wouldn't even put him on unless it was like desperately needed. And keep that attention away from all of that crap. I think Newcastle just want to. And
for the absolute fume, for him to come on.
Of course, that would be great.
It's going to be interesting to see how that pans out, because that could be Newcastle got top 4 now. So go on, beat them.
It looks like it, doesn't it? Yeah.
Do you think there's? I know I've just said that, but do you think there's? I mean, it looks like if we're gonna get it from anyone, it looks like it probably will be United if we're gonna get it from anyone. But I think it's probably too far. What do you reckon? Too much?
Man United have some tough games coming up, but I think I said it a couple of weeks ago. Man United are the ones that I could see slipping out of the top 4. Really, if I look at them, just because of the injuries they have, especially at the back. But it's impossible to say. And I mean, again, we'll see how we look in a couple of weeks. But yeah, I think if any team's going to drop out, it's going to be Manchester United. And now, of course, they have their minds on the FA Cup as well. But they weren't great against. I mean, they got a result. They got a bit of a stubbornness about them, Man United, but they weren't great against Brighton. If Brighton had Ferguson, unfortunately, who was out injured. If he was fit, then he would have taken, 2 or 3 of those chances. But
yeah, it's just tough, isn't it? Because it looks like Newcastle probably will be fine, and United, it's just we'll probably run out of games. It means we'll have to probably win every single game, and we're gonna have to hope
100%.
they lose 4 or 3 or 4 out of 7, which I don't know if you can really see them doing that.
I can't see them losing that. I can see them drawing quite a few, though. I can definitely see, a lot of draws. If I look at the Man United fixtures coming up, I don't see a lot where I'm confident that they're going to get wins out of those games. So anyway, all we can do is keep winning and hope they drop points, right? And we'll see where we stand in a week, 2 weeks, because it could look completely different. So
Yeah,
and who knows? We need Aston Villa to start slipping up as well, because they're looking dangerous at the moment.
no,
Villa.
They are, to be fair.
Yeah.
So, that means done an unbelievable job, Annie. But
Yes.
anyway, we'll do one in the pub for West Ham, and as I say, we're gonna have another pod about general what the season, what the future's gonna look like for us in the next going into next season. But before we go, big thanks to everyone for subscribing. We're at 11,000 subscribers now, which is absolutely fantastic. And then you make sure, if you haven't already, subscribe, and you get us on all the social medias as well. So other than that, guys, thank you very much, and we'll see you all soon. Up the Reds.
Cheers.
Yeah.